The world of modern celebrity culture is driven by an insatiable hunger for spectacle, a continuous cycle where the personal lives of the rich and famous are routinely transformed into public entertainment. For decades, pop music has served as the ultimate arena for this phenomenon, functioning not just as an art form but as a living, breathing archive of high-profile romance, heartbreak, and emotional retaliation. Musicians have long used their lyrics, music videos, and stage personas to drop cryptic hints about their private relationships, leaving fans to dissect every syllable in search of hidden meaning. Yet, every so often, an artist decides to completely bypass the subtle art of metaphor and deliver something so shockingly direct that it reshapes the entire cultural conversation overnight. This is the story of an industry built on the delicate balance of public adoration and private vulnerability, where the line between an artist's real life and their onstage persona is intentionally blurred to create maximum impact. To truly understand how we arrived at this current moment of unprecedented onstage confrontation, one must look at the evolving nature of live performances, which have transformed from simple musical showcases into massive, highly orchestrated theatrical events capable of driving global media narratives in a matter of seconds. Before we dive deeper into the mechanics of this latest pop culture phenomenon and uncover the layers of drama that left an international audience completely stunned, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an analysis of the biggest moments shaping the entertainment world today. The power of a live performance lies in its absolute immediacy, the shared vulnerability between the performer under the blinding stadium lights and the thousands of screaming fans watching from the darkness of the arena floor. In this environment, a single unscripted gesture or a carefully planned piece of stage design can trigger a wave of speculation that ripples across the internet before the final notes of a song have even faded into the night air. Over the past several years, the expectations placed upon global superstars have escalated dramatically, forcing them to find increasingly innovative and provocative ways to capture the fleeting attention of a distracted digital audience. It is no longer enough to simply sing the hits. A modern pop icon must curate an entire experience that feels deeply intimate yet massively cinematic, blending confession with showmanship in a way that keeps the public endlessly guessing about what is real and what is merely part of the act. This delicate high-wire act requires a rare combination of absolute confidence, theatrical brilliance, and a willingness to weaponize one's own personal history for the sake of the narrative. As the lights dimmed at a major international music festival recently, the crowd had no idea they were about to witness a masterclass in this exact form of cultural manipulation. An event that would instantly dominate headlines and leave commentators scrambling to decode a series of highly specific public callouts. The atmosphere inside the venue was already electric, fueled by hours of continuous music and the collective energy of tens of thousands of festival-goers who had traveled from all corners of the globe to see their favorite icons take the stage. When the familiar opening chords of a massive hit single began to echo through the massive sound system, the collective roar of the crowd reached a deafening crescendo, signaling the arrival of a performer who has spent over a decade dominating the global charts. What followed, however, was not just a flawless rendition of a beloved pop anthem, but a highly calculated and visually stunning piece of performance art that took aim at some of the most famous names in the entertainment industry. By utilizing a massive, highly interactive stage prop that dominated the entire visual landscape of the arena, the artist managed to transform a standard festival set into a deeply personal, highly publicized ritual of emotional closure and defiant celebration. The sheer audacity of the display caught everyone off guard, instantly shifting the energy of the festival from a standard celebration of music to a collective moment of collective shock and realization. As images and video clips of the performance began to flood social media platforms in real time, fans around the world immediately recognized that they were witnessing something truly extraordinary. A moment where the private romantic history of a global superstar was being laid bare in front of a live audience of thousands. This opening act of defiance set the stage for a much larger conversation about the nature of celebrity relationships, the lingering impact of high-profile breakups, and the creative ways in which artists choose to reclaim their own narratives in the court of public opinion. The build-up to this precise moment had been months in the making, quietly developing beneath the surface of routine promotional cycles and low-profile public appearances until the perfect stage presented itself. As the performance unfolded, the careful orchestration behind every visual cue became increasingly apparent, revealing a deliberate strategy designed to maximize emotional tension and guarantee that the event would be talked about for weeks to come. The choice of the song itself was no accident, serving as the perfect sonic backdrop for a theatrical display that contrasted themes of lingering emotional attachment with the absolute finality of modern digital rejection. By weaving these deeply personal themes into the fabric of a massive pop anthem, the performance achieved a unique duality, operating simultaneously as a massive crowd-pleasing spectacle and a sharp, unapologetic statement about the artist's past romantic entanglements. This masterful manipulation of tone and imagery ensured that the audience remained utterly transfixed, hanging on every movement and waiting to see just how far the boundary between public art and private reality would be pushed before the curtains finally came down. The incredible spectacle took place on a grand stage in Spain during the massive O Son du Camino festival, an event known for gathering some of the biggest names in international music. As the unmistakable upbeat production of her hit song Never Really Over filled the open air, global pop icon Katy Perry decided to elevate her performance from a standard festival set into a viral cultural moment. The track itself, a celebrated anthem about the cyclic nature of love and the difficulty of truly letting go of past relationships, provided the absolute perfect thematic backdrop for what she had planned. Towering over the stage was an enormous, highly detailed prop resembling a giant iPhone, which suddenly came to life with bright graphics simulating incoming phone calls. The thousands of fans standing in the crowd watched in absolute disbelief as the massive screen began to flash with the names and recognizable initials of Katy Perry's most famous Celebrity X episodes, transforming her romantic history into a highly public, real-time interactive game of digital rejection. With a dramatic flourish and absolute confidence, Perry proceeded to run across the stage, deliberately hitting the virtual decline button for each caller, effectively shutting down her past in front of an ecstatic, roaring audience. The crowd immediately understood the gravity of what they were witnessing, as each name flashing on the screen represented a major chapter in the pop star's highly publicized personal life, creating a palpable wave of tension and excitement throughout the venue. Interestingly, one prominent figure from her past was completely absent from this digital roll call of exes, as her former husband, the British comedian and actor Russell Brand, was noticeably missing from the giant screen. Given the incredibly turbulent, highly publicized nature of their short-lived marriage and eventual divorce over a decade ago, many commentators and fans noted that leaving him out of the light-hearted performance was undoubtedly for the best, allowing the segment to retain its energetic, playful atmosphere. However, the names that did make it onto the screen instantly reignited old rumors and sent shockwaves through the pop music community. Among the first to be publicly rejected on the giant screen was the famous electronic music producer and DJ Diplo, a brief romance that many casual observers had completely forgot even occurred. Katy Perry and Diplo were romantically linked back in the spring of 2014, a fleeting relationship that took place during a transitional period in both of their skyrocketing careers. Their time together was short but memorable, highlighted by their high-profile joint appearance at the star-studded Met Gala the following year, where they were famously photographed together on the red carpet, separated only by fashion design Jeremy Scott and pop royalty Madonna. By including Diplo in this onstage ritual, Perry playfully acknowledged a brief chapter of her youth, showing the world that she remembers every single step of her journey, no matter how brief or forgotten by the general public. As the song continued to build momentum, the giant iPhone screen shifted to display a much more significant and deeply emotional chapter of her romantic past, flashing the unmistakable initials JM, standing for the critically acclaimed singer-songwriter John Mayer. The relationship between Perry and Mayer, which began in the summer of 2013, was a true powerhouse pairing of the music industry, defined by an intense, highly creative connection that fascinated millions of fans and journalists worldwide. During their time together, the musical duo even collaborated on the beautiful stripped-down ballad Who You Love, showcasing a profound artistic synergy that many believed would stand the test of time. Their relationship, however, was also characterized by a complex on and off dynamic that ultimately led to their final separation, leaving a lasting impact on both of their lives and inspiring several poignant tracks on their respective subsequent albums. Seeing his initials flashing on the massive festival screen, only to be promptly dismissed with a swift tap of Katy's finger, brought a collective gasp from the audience, highlighting the lingering cultural weight of that specific romantic era. The tension in the festival arena reached its absolute peak when the giant screen revealed the next set of initials, OB, a direct and completely unambiguous reference to Hollywood superstar Orlando Bloom. This particular call-out carried an incredible amount of emotional weight, as Katy Perry and the famous actor had spent nearly 9 years building a life together. A deeply committed relationship that produced a beautiful child and captured the hearts of fans across the globe. The news of their recent split last year had sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, marking the end of what many considered to be one of the most stable and enduring partnerships in modern Hollywood. By including Bloom in this public display of romantic finality, Perry demonstrated a profound willingness to be completely transparent with her audience, tackling the pain of a fresh, deeply significant breakup with the same defiant, theatrical energy she applied to relationships from her distant past. The sight of Orlando Bloom's initials being rejected on a giant fake iPhone created an instant frenzy online, with fans immediately taking to social media to analyze the meaning behind the gesture, debating whether it was a sign of lingering bitterness or a healthy, humorous method of achieving true emotional closure. The atmosphere within the festival grounds was thick with anticipation as the song reached its final crescendo, with everyone wondering how this unprecedented public display of romantic score settling would conclude. Katy Perry had managed to hold the entire crowd in the palm of her hand, utilizing cutting-edge stage design and her own personal history to create a dramatic narrative that felt incredibly raw yet perfectly polished. The brilliant juxtaposition of a bright, infectious pop song with the heavy, relatable themes of past heartbreaks and digital boundaries allowed the performance to resonate on a deeply human level, proving once again why she remains one of the most captivating entertainers of her generation. Just when the audience believed the dramatic display of digital rejections had reached its final conclusion, the giant iPhone screen flashed one last time to reveal an entirely unexpected twist that left the entire festival crowd completely breathless. Instead of another symbol of past heartbreak, the massive screen lit up with the letters JPJT, representing the initials of her current romantic partner, the Canadian politician and Prime Minister Justin Pierre James Trudeau. This sudden and incredibly shocking revelation brought a sweet, highly unconventional conclusion to the public ritual, signaling to the world that despite her extensive history of high-profile heartbreaks, Katy Perry has entered an entirely new chapter of her life. The romance between the global pop superstar and the prominent international leader has been widely discussed as one of the most surprising, fascinating pairings in modern celebrity history, bridging two entirely different worlds of entertainment and global prominence. By ending her performance with this specific nod, Perry transformed a segment about past rejections into a powerful, triumphant celebration of her current happiness, showing that her heart is officially occupied and no longer accepting calls from the past. The immediate reaction across social media platforms was a massive, chaotic mixture of absolute astonishment, humor, and deep fascination, with millions of fans trying to process the sheer scale of the onstage announcement. For many onlookers, the relationship remains a beautifully unpredictable match. An extraordinary union of an American pop icon who built her career on bright camp aesthetics and a seasoned world leader known for his charisma on the international stage. Their journey together began quietly, away from the flashing cameras of the paparazzi, developing through shared interests, mutual respect, and a rare understanding of what it means to live life under the intense, unyielding scrutiny of the global public eye. Over the past year, as they have been spotted together at various low-profile gatherings and exclusive events, the public has watched their bond grow stronger, defying the initial skepticism of critics who viewed the relationship as a temporary media spectacle. This bold, unapologetic festival performance in Spain served as Perry's definitive statement on the matter, a creative declaration that she is fully committed to this new path and completely finished with the ghosts of her romantic history. To fully understand why this moment carries such immense weight, one must look at the incredible, decades-long journey of Katy Perry herself, a girl from a conservative background who transformed into a global phenomenon through sheer determination, songwriting talent, and an innate understanding of pop mythology. Born Catherine Elizabeth Hudson, she spent her early years singing in church, absorbing the foundations of gospel and vocal performance while navigating a strict, deeply religious household. Her initial attempts to break into the music industry under her real name, resulted in a Christian pop album that failed to gain commercial traction. A major setback that would have discouraged a lesser artist but instead fueled her desire to reinvent herself completely. Moving to Los Angeles and adopting her mother's maiden name, Perry spent years navigating the treacherous waters of major record labels, experiencing dropped contracts, shelved albums, and broken promises before finally securing her breakthrough. When her massive hit single blasted onto the global charts, it did more than just launch her career. It established her as a fearless cultural provocateur who was unafraid to challenge societal norms and embrace a highly stylized, colorful, and deeply theatrical persona. Over the subsequent years, she achieved an unprecedented level of commercial success, matching historical records for the most #1 singles from a single album and cementing her status as an absolute pillar of modern pop music. Yet, alongside the multi-platinum plaques and sold-out stadium tours, her personal life was routinely treated as public property, with every romance, marriage, and subsequent breakup dissected by gossip columnists and casual fans alike. This constant intrusion made her public relationships an integral part of her artistic narrative, ensuring that her music was always viewed through the lens of her real-world experiences. Her brief, highly chaotic marriage to Russell Brand, which concluded with a sudden divorce via text message right before she was scheduled to take the stage for a massive concert, showed the world the incredible emotional resilience required to perform under extreme personal duress. That defining period of heartbreak, captured vividly in her documentary film, endeared her to millions of fans who saw her not just as an untouchable superstar, but as a deeply human individual navigating profound personal pain while fulfilling her professional duties. Her subsequent relationships with Diplo and John Mayer further highlighted the unique challenges of dating within the high-stakes environment of the music industry, where competing schedules, artistic egos, and continuous media speculation create a pressure cooker that few partnerships can survive. When she eventually found love with Orlando Bloom, fans believed she had finally secured her fairy tale ending, making their ultimate separation last year all the more devastating for the global community that had tracked their 9-year journey. Throughout all of these public trials, Perry has consistently used her platform to demonstrate that heartbreak does not define an individual, choosing instead to channel her emotional experiences into massive, uplifting anthems that inspire resilience and self-love in her listeners. Her performance at the O Sun do Camino Festival was the ultimate culmination of this philosophy, a brilliant piece of performance art that allowed her to literally push away the past while embracing a bright, unpredictable future. The inclusion of Justin Trudeau's initials was not just a playful nod to her current partner. It was a clear demonstration of her complete liberation from the narratives that have followed her for over a decade. By transforming her past relationships into a literal game on a giant stage prop, she took full ownership of her history, stripping the gossip industry of its power and choosing to tell her own story on her own terms. The performance has sparked a much larger, incredibly vibrant conversation about how women in the entertainment industry are viewed as they navigate romance, aging, and personal evolution under the watchful eye of the public. For years, female pop stars have been unfairly defined by their relationship statuses, with their artistic achievements frequently overshadowed by whichever high-profile figure they happen to be dating at the moment. By turning the tables and converting her romantic history into a colorful, fast-paced segment of her live show, Perry cleverly satirized this exact phenomenon, transforming the public's obsession with her exes into a source of pure entertainment and self-empowerment. As the final notes of Never